Around a year ago, I was in the worst position that I've ever been in my life. I had just turned 18 and I was extremely depressed, I was extremely broke, I was extremely lost in life, and honestly, I was just at a crossroads in my life. I didn't know what path I wanted to go down. I was meant to go to university, but instead, I wanted to get rich because I saw a bald man on TikTok saying all this stuff, seeing everyone living these lavish lifestyles, and I was like, I want that. I don't want to work a normal 9 to 5. But at the same time, I did absolutely nothing to try to achieve these goals. I wasn't on self improvement. I wasn't trying to work on a business. In fact, every single day I would just wake up, I'd scroll on TikTok, I'd go eat some shitty breakfast, and I'd go out to meet my mates, smoke, come back home, scroll on TikTok, go to sleep, and repeat. And as I said, this was probably the worst part of my life ever. Every single thought that I had, it was extremely negative, and honestly, every single day felt like it was just the same day on repeat. But that same day was extremely boring, it was extremely unproductive, and with all the habits I was doing, the scrolling, the eating, the fucking porn and shit, every single habit destroyed me, and I did nothing to change it. It was the worst position that I was ever in my life. But obviously, a year ago from now, a lot of things have changed. I've changed completely as a person in this year. I'm making good money, I'm happy, I'm in good physique, I'm eating well, I'm on progress to achieving all my goals. I'm looking forward to a good 2025 because I know a lot of things are going to change. And I'm just going to tell you the one thing that I stopped doing to myself, which completely changed my life. And you probably do it quite a lot. Now, I don't know what position you're in, but I'm going to assume, because if you're a young guy like me, when you go to sleep at night, you have a lot of motivating thoughts. You've maybe been scrolling on TikTok and you've seen all these TikToks about guys driving fancy cars and financial freedom and escaping the 9 to 5 life. So it's obviously got you a bit pumped up and motivated. And when you have these thoughts in your mind, you start to say that you're going to do a lot of things. I'm going to start that business tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do this and then do that, and then I'll go to the gym, and then I'll start a business, and then I'll start meditating and reading books. And you just create all these promises. Maybe you write yourself a to-do list on a whiteboard or on a piece of paper saying, yeah, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m, I'm going to go for a cold shower, I'm going to do all that stuff. But then you don't do them. You wake up the next day, you probably got a shit sleep because of your sleeping habits. So instead you're just like, oh, I don't really feel like doing it today, I'm just going to do it tomorrow. If that sounds like you, then this video is very much for you, because I was in that exact position. Back when I was in this absolute rut of a life, I was at the lowest of the lows. This is what I'd do, because obviously I was at a crossroads in life. I knew that I wanted to be rich, be successful, have financial freedom, escape the 9 to 5 life. So I was obviously on that side of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram Reels. So every time I scrolled, which was quite a lot, must have been like 4 hours a day, that's all I'd see. And when I was scrolling just before I went to bed, I'd obviously see all these motivational TikToks, and in my mind, all I could think was, I need to get rich, I need to get rich, I need to start putting in the work, I need to change. All of those thoughts that probably every single guy has. So a lot of the time I'd go on my phone, I'd go on my notes, and I'd write down a to-do list or goals for the next day. And obviously they'd be extremely overestimating, what I would be able to do. I was saying like, yeah, I'll do 4 hours of deep work, then I'll read a book, then I'll have a cold plunge, and then I'll do whatever. I won't scroll on TikTok whatsoever. I woke up the next day, I would be extremely tired because I probably got about 6 hours of sleep. I'd be unmotivated. All that motivation I had the night before, it went during my sleep. And this made me realise that the one thing that was stopping me from actually doing anything with my life was the simple fact that I kept breaking promises to myself. I'd create these promises the night before, I'd go to sleep, and I'd break them the next day. And this cycle would repeat and repeat and repeat. So, knowing that, because I finally realised it, I started to research a lot about mindset, because obviously there was something inside my mindset that was completely fucked up. There was an imbalance in my brain that was completely fucked up. So now I've literally spent probably the past year of my life every single day dedicating a period of time to just learning about mindset. And now it's actually what I teach, because I have a very strong mindset, I have very good mental models, I have very good emotional control, I'm very disciplined, So I've conquered my mind, and I do actually teach that in my email list. So if you want to learn how to rewire your brain, conquer your mind, and actually make your mind a magnet to whatever it is you want to achieve, then do go join my newsletter. But either way, sorry I had to promo you. The game's the game. I spent a lot of time learning about my mindset, and I realised the one most important thing that was fucking my life up was the simple fact that I broke promises to myself. Because I've come to realise that when you break promises to yourself, let's say you have 10 daily goals on your whiteboard, you wake up the next day, you look at them and you do absolutely fuck all. You scroll on TikTok still, you still have a wank, you still eat your junk food. You don't tick off any of those boxes. You've broken a lot of promises to yourself. And when you break these promises to yourself, what happens to you is inside your brain, mainly your subconscious mind, you create an imbalance because you destroy your self-trust. Every single time you break promises to yourself, even if you consciously think, oh, I don't really care, it's a lot of effort, you destroy the self-trust that you have with yourself inside your subconscious mind. And this creates a very, very dark cycle, a repeating cycle. It's like a vicious circle. Because I want you to view it like this. So, you wake up in the morning. Can you see that well? Yeah, hopefully you can. Right, so you create promises. Have I done a G? Either way. Create promises. Next day, you break them. You then... Oh shit, that's going to really annoy me. You then lose... You see that well? Yeah, just about self-trust. And when you lose your self-trust, obviously you go into a bit of a deeper rut. You start doing worse habits, you start making even less progress in life, you start taking things way less seriously because you've lost this self-trust. And when you lose this self-trust, what happens is you start getting angry at yourself. For example, if you're not in the position you want to be in right now, or let's say you've had a really shit day, you've been unproductive, you obviously get angry at yourself. And when you get angry at yourself, this anger, it then turns into drive. For example, maybe when you're creating these promises to yourself at night, you're actually in a position of anger because you're angry that you didn't go hard enough, you're angry that you're not changing, you're angry you're not putting the work in. So then you're like, okay, fuck this, tomorrow I'm going to do this, this and that. You go into a state of anger. This anger turns into drive. This anger leads you to creating promises to yourself. So anger, once you lose your self-trust, you get angry at yourself. When you're angry, it turns into drive. And then you create promises to yourself, and then the next day, because you've lost your self-trust, you break them again. And once you break more promises to yourself, you lose more self-trust. And once you lose more self-trust, you become more angry. Once you become more angry, you then get more drive. This creates more promises. Then you break them again. This cycle repeats and repeats and repeats until you literally fall into a state of existential and internal crisis. Your life is just entropic. So that's all I'm really going to leave you with. One of the worst possible things you can do to yourself is to break promises to yourself, because if you can't trust yourself, then it's going to be very, very hard for you to achieve anything in your life. So that's what you should take out of this video. The one most important thing that you can do for your mindset is to, if you're going to make promises to yourself, keep them. For example, you've probably got some 2025 New Year's resolutions coming up, since it's the new year tomorrow. Happy New Year for that, by the way. If you break those promises to yourself, then you're going to lose that bit of self-trust, and that cycle is going to start repeating itself. So fucking stick to them. My life would have been completely different a year ago. Well, my life would have been completely different now if I kept my promises that I made a year ago. I'd probably be in Thailand smoking a big fat cigar with a Rolex on my wrist, but instead, I'm not. Don't get me wrong, I'm obviously doing well for myself, but I am nowhere near where I want to be. But if I started a year ago, then maybe I would have. So take it from me. Go into 2025 with this mindset of, I am going to keep every promise I keep to myself. Because you know what's going to happen if you keep the promises to yourself. Let's say, my bad, I've got a bit of a cold, but let's say One of your New Year's resolutions in 2025 is to start a business. If you keep that promise to yourself, if you do it and you stick with it and you make 10k a month for that business, you know what's going to happen. You're going to be successful, you'll be able to achieve financial freedom. But if you don't keep that promise, firstly, you're going to lose self-trust. Secondly, you'll lose respect for yourself. Thirdly, you will have stayed broke. Fourthly, you will have stayed in your 9 to 5 job or not dropped out of school. So actually weighing it up, obviously keeping the promise to yourself is way more powerful than than breaking the promise. Keeping a promise will do way more positive than you know what I'm trying to say. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Either way, I'm waffling, so I'm going to end the video here. Just keep in mind that the one most important thing that you can do for your life is to keep your promises, keep your word, stay true to yourself, and I guarantee you can achieve whatever it is you want in your life. But either way, I'll end the video here. As I said, I've spent this past year learning about mindset, doing research on it, conquering my own mind, rewiring my own brain, and obviously it's led me to results that I wouldn't have got if I didn't do it. So if you want access to every single thing I teach for free inside my newsletter, where I send you daily emails that will help you conquer your mind so you can actually keep them promises to yourself, you can persist, you can be patient, you can be disciplined, you can do the hard work, you can achieve what you want. You can rewire your brain inside my newsletter, because I'll be giving you secrets on how to actually change your subconscious programming. That will help you create your mind as a magnet to success, and a whole lot more mental models that you can install into your mind. So you have specific mental models for specific problems, and these specific mental models are the specific solutions that you need for the specific problems. So if you want all of that, just go click the link in my bio. There's nothing, literally all you've got to do is give me your email. I'm not going to try to sell your information. A guy commented that on my post, stop trying to sell people's information. It's bullshit. I'm actually trying to help you improve your mindset. So yeah, if you want more content like this, make sure you subscribe. And if you want every single thing that I said you'll get inside my newsletter, then go subscribe to that in the link in bio, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good 2025.